Hello, my friends. Yeah, I know that entry of the music is still blaring as hell. I've got to find something. I'm going to have to concoct yet another entry because it's... anyway, so if y'all, anybody and everybody, you listen to at least a little bit of the crap coming through your boob tube last night, you talk about that they, at the 11th minute until the 11th hour, Congress manages to push through a resolution to keep the government funded and operating for another 45 days, for another 6 weeks. So a continuing resolution, much to the detriment of Speaker McCarthy, and much to the anger and furiosity of his base, because you know that's how these people roll, and that's how this crap's going to go. So they get this thing done, and it's likely just going to. Matt Gaetz now has no choice. He has to push through the resolution to remove Kevin McCarthy from the speaker position, because if he don't, then he's got no teeth. He's been threatening this. He's been waving around. Everybody suspects that he's the one that left the resolution available in the damn men's room. So anybody potentially any would be reporter come along and snag it up, or the opposing side can get it, or whatever. But the fact was, Matt Gaetz has been making a lot of smoke, sounding, "Hey Matt, where there's a lot of smoke, there must be fire. You better fire. You better be ready to pull the trigger, because Kevin called you bluff. Kevin called you. Kevin did what at the end of the day, Kevin did what he absolutely knew he had to do, because if the government was not going to they were going to close the government down, he's going to lose his job too. So the odds are he's going to lose his job anyway. He's going to lose his job, period. And the question is for what purpose did he want to lose the job? Does he want to be, he want to let Matt Gaetz try to force him out of his job because of petty bullshit? Because that's what's now going to look like if Matt Gaetz tries to pull any kind of shit. That it's pure retribution because Kevin did not toe the MAGA line the way the MAGA people absolutely positively demanded that McCarthy needed to do. So old boy here, he's just throwing a fit, having a cow, just tearing himself up. No offense, America, but who the fuck is this guy? Who is this guy? Where did he come from? I mean, up until recently, I didn't hear jack about him before. So I don't know, how long has he been in Congress? I guess I need to Google that, don't I? I need to get an answer on it. Oh, isn't that amazing how much information you can get at your fingertips today? How much that we take for granted, the fact that we can. Hey, America, you can ask those questions and get the answers that are really there. The question, of course, is if you can't make yourself believe it, so be it. So one of the things that McCarthy and Gaetz have been flapping their jaws about every time the chance comes up, because they try to deflect the current situation or the problem that they've now temporarily resolved, is the crisis at the border. Biden needs to shut the border down. Do you know what? I'm just gonna be honestly, brutally, and straight up, because I don't know how any other way to be, man. But I'm telling you right now, y'all lucky I ain't no president. Yeah, I'm a vindictive fuck too. I get that. And I would never be a good politician. The first part, because I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to tell you the truth as sardonically as I can. Look up sardonic in the dictionary. It's a little different than sarcastic. There's a key difference there, but look it up. Look it up. Anyway. Meanwhile, if I was president and these ass clowns kept doing this crap, the border's open, the fuck it is. The border is not wide open. Yeah, they're allowing a lot of yahoos to come through more than usual. That is Biden's doing. Biden is encouraging people from South America to come here in droves with the illusion that the border's open. Border's not open. It just means it's just taking longer to process, which just means it's taking longer to process all the legal paperwork. And to expedite that, they're just moving people across the border, which is not necessarily a good thing. But the border itself is not wide open. As for this, oh my God, the drugs and the thugs and the guns and they're just pouring through the border. They're just pouring in. So, what was that war on drugs for 30-odd years that Reagan initiated, started back in the 80s, and, Nancy Reagan going, just say no. I mean, they've been bitching about drug running and illegals coming across the southern border since we had a southern border, since we started having a drug problem. It has been, no offense, guys, no offense. Hey, Republicans, maybe you need to find a few different things. You keep falling back on the same bullshit over and over again because it's worked in the past. Well, a lot of people are getting dialed into it. A lot of people are getting fed up with the same old bullshit that keeps coming up. Oh, the economy. I did do some Googling yesterday and the day before. It apparently turns out it is true that our government has been shut down several times in the past, and most frequently in the last 50 to 80 years. It's been closed down 6, 7 times by the Republican Party. Because of the Republican Party playing the economic game, playing the money game, pulling on the purse strings and crap, and other reasons. But there has never been a government shutdown under the Democrats. One thing for sure, you can guarantee that Democrats are not going to try to put you out of a job if you're working for the government. If anything, the Democrats want more government. Yeah, we get that part. We want the Republicans less government. Well, that's fine, and we want to find a balance. But you can't completely destroy the government and have no government. Libertarianism will not work in America, my friends. It will not work. This country will self-destruct in a matter of weeks if you try to put that kind of bullshit in. Because the states cannot be trusted to look into the best interests of each other, let alone themselves. There's a reason we have federal laws and a federal government and federal oversight. It's to make sure that all 50 of our little punks play nice with each other. You got to know that there's a handful of states out here itching to go to war with another state out of principle. I here in my home state of Iowa, no offense, Missouri, we come down and kick your ass. We come down and kick your ass because we still believe in Iowa that a small corner portion of the state that's in the Missouri belongs to Iowa. Go back to the Civil War, just right when the Civil War cracked up, and you'll see how that bullshit played out. But the point is, you're going to have this kind of problem, and trying to figure out a way to go about fixing these problems, that's a bit more tougher to do. And one of the biggest problems is that over and over and over again, the Republican Party primarily, but the Democratic Party has done this in the past too, whoever's in control of the House has control of the proverbial purse string. Ideally, all funding for government, anything, is approved by and comes through various appropriations and amendments and stuff like that in the House of Representatives. It's then pushed up a creative budget, which is then approved, ratified by the Senate, and then sent to the President, who also then approves it by signing it into law and making it happen. So what we have seen more and more frequently is this rob Paul to pay Peter, or we're just going to, they call it kicking the can down the road now. We're just going to kick the can down. So they bought time for themselves. They got 6 weeks. So they're hoping something will radically change in 6 weeks. Well, what could radically change in 6 weeks before this whole circus clown show starts up again? Well, McCarthy most likely not to be Speaker of the House. You know, the guy that they're pushing to replace him, I don't know jack about this dude, so I don't know nothing about whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. We also know that there's nothing the House is pushing through that the Senate's not going to shut down if they don't like it. The fact of the matter is, Democrats still control the Senate by a margin of 1. Although we're seeing some demographics going to be flipping around and changing. You know, no offense, I've said it in this previous video. Senator Mendez, you need to go, bud. You need to go. You need to resign and step down. And if you won't resign and step down, then your peers need to grab you by the nutsack and drag you out the door. There was a time when we used to use the tar and feather somebody, ride you out of town on a rail. I'm trying to think of the movie right off the top of the head. George Clooney. If you want to see what that's like, go look at that movie. Oh brother, we're out there, art thou? That's a grand look, a parody of looking in politics, and you can still see the swamp today. The swamp is everywhere. The swamp is we are all knee deep in this nasty ass swamp of politics and what they're doing to our country. And these ass clowns that we've elected are tearing it apart on all sides. There's so many of them that are so corrupt in the pockets of the wealthy and the rich. It's just absurd. And as for this, McCarthy, dude, you had your day, you had your plaque, you got your painting on a wall somewhere in some dusty room as Speaker of the House. What do you care? You achieved your goals, dude. You've got your fame and it won't be. It'll be fleeting. That's no question about it. It's going to be fleeting no matter what. But at some point, as a man, as a person, as a human being, don't you have to make a stand? At some point, you have to look at somebody like Matt Gaetz and go, now what? So when he made that move, when he made that challenge, he told Matt Gaetz, well, you advance your motion. Advance the motion to have me voted out. Do it. Double dog dare you to do it. Here, I'll put it on the table for you. Let's just get this out on the table right fucking now. And if Kevin, which apparently is what Mr. McCarthy is doing, is realize that sometimes reaching across the aisle is what you got to do to save your own damn butt. Sometimes you have to work together as a group of people, even with your opponents, to get something achieved. And the fact that we just keep doing this resolution shit and this individual bill stuff that Congress is, that certain level, the MAGA group in Congress is pushing, want each funding bill specific. So the military should have its own funding bill. Social Security should have its own funding bill. Okay. Good luck with that. Make it work. In either case, at the end of the day, compromise is how politics works. The only way to get anything done is politics in a democratic society is compromise. Everybody gets something. Nobody gets 100% of what they want. And generally, the welfare of the most good gets considered. It's when we start ignoring that sort of stuff that our system is really walking on thin ice. And these ass fucks are pulling the American wagon out on the thin ice with them. And they're gleefully doing it. And some of them are actually children. They're getting their rocks off by jumping down up and down on the ice, laughing and giggling, thinking, hey, because that's what we want to do. We want to see the whole country fail. Because they're going to rebuild the country in our image. So then I have to ask, what is it that these guys really want? What is Matt Gaetz' endgame? What is this guy's true endgame? Ask yourself that. For anybody who's not in his shadow, ask yourself, what is this guy really getting out of any of this stuff? Other than fame. I mean, obviously there's fortune to be made, but he's not. That's from a different animal. I sure like to know how much stuff he's benefiting from. How long ago was it? I don't know, Matt. You got a book deal going on? Have you got a book out there yet? Got some speaking tours lined up for yourself? Maybe a cushy job working in one of these big corporate think tanks or something where you can get a fat check and just pretend like you're on the board of directors and do something? I'm just asking. At the end of the day, you got to question all these people and their motives, and you got to watch their motives and watch their actions and watch their words and listen to what they're saying. Yeah. This isn't a good thing. This continuously pushing crap down the road. We need to have a budget. We need to have a budget in a certain amount of time, but it needs to be a functional budget that operates for a functional period of time. And the fact that in this case, these government shutdowns, for the most part, it's it's gunking up the works for how everyday average Americans operate. But the people that really take it in the butt for it is the people working for the government. The government workers who have no recourse. They're not allowed to have massive unions that give them control over what their destinies are. They're hamstrung by a lot of that. So they're at the mercy of these ass clowns that they themselves helped elect. And so you have to keep yourself in mind. When somebody tells you you're not going to paycheck for a month because they're playing some kind of weird politic game in Washington that makes no sense other than to their narrow little group. You need to be asking yourself pretty hard come election time whether or not these people are the ones who want running the show. Are they running the show for the benefit of everybody or just for a small margin of people? And what's the value? What's the end game for people like Matt Gaetz? We know what McCarthy's end game is. Hell, he's been blatantly obvious about it for the past couple months. He wanted to be Speaker of the House. He wanted that damn gavel. He wanted that plaque above his office. He wanted that office. And he was going to sell his soul and all of us down the river to get it. Well, he got it. You have it, McCarthy. You're not going to keep it for very long. So what kind of legacy are you going to leave? I have to ask. I have to ask you, what kind of legacy do you think that this guy's going to leave if he caves into to the likes of Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tuber Bills and these other whack jobs? Where's the value? What's the benefit there personally for him? That's just foolhardy and stupid, you know. So you had to make a stand. So the fact he crossed the aisle and sought out help from the Democrats to pass this resolution is not a surprise. Not a surprise at all. And now the question is that a one-time thing, or is, because McCarthy makes a lot of talk about how he's always open for, partisan this, that, partisan everything. Yeah, what they want is a handful of Democrats to come across the aisle and agree with whatever madness and maniac crap that they want to pull and rubber stamp it. Well, the Democrats, for the most part, are smart enough not to do that. I'm not saying they are all smart enough and greedy enough. You just got to go to Manchin for an example. But we're going to have a shakeup coming up. We have Senator Feinstein passed away. God bless that woman. The shame that her handlers put on everybody is terrible. There's no way that poor lady should have been. She died when she could have lived a little longer at home in proper care. Instead, they just kept dragging her in for her proxy vote because they can't afford to lose that seat. This is something they can't afford, so now that seat's up for grabs. Like I said, Mendez, he needs to go. Whether they eliminate him altogether, I don't know how you can go about doing that. I don't know. Short of that's just it. I don't know that you can it's like Santos. Once Santos got elected, he's kind of going to stay elected. It sure seems that way. Yeah, he's being punished and crap. He's looking at some time in prison, but it won't be until his next election comes up that they actually be able to replace him. There's some stuff going on where they're trying to push through resolutions and crap. But good luck with any of that. And it's a timely thing. By the time they get anything accomplished, the damn election will come around again anyway. So this same class is when I look at Matt Gaetz. What's Matt Gaetz' real thing here? What is he really getting? Because if he truly believes in the stuff he's peddling, then we got a bigger problem on our hands. This means this is a zealot, and a zealot cannot be reasoned with. Greene is a zealot. She's a nutcase, and you are not going to reason with her, and she's never going to come around to that middle ground. She's never going to do it. It's all or nothing for her, and the all means the crazier the more. The more crazier it needs to be to achieve her goals, then she's willing to go down that. She's willing to go down every rabbit hole out there, and a few black holes too. So what's the value? What's the payout for these people? Meanwhile, 6 weeks. 6 weeks. So we're going to coming up on the Thanksgiving holiday season and be doing this bullshit all over again. The middle of October, toward the end of October, we'll be coming up on the damn holiday season, and then they'll be doing all this bullshit all over again. And assuming by that time it'd be a miracle that McCarthy stays in power, although more likely than not it would take the Democrats to keep him there. You know what? If I was Democrats, I'd do that. As long as the Republicans got a majority, you can and Democrats can keep McCarthy in power or in the seat, the gavel. Do it, because you'll have something over on him. He'll be dependent on a smaller percentage of the Democrats so he's going to have to kiss their ass just a little bit more than he would have if he didn't cross that. And if the Democrats manage to if he manages to retain his gavel, it's in spite of Matt Gaetz. Even makes Matt look even a bigger fool. Even a bigger toothless whatever. Anyway, that's my opinion. It ain't yours. Till next time, watch out for flying cats.